Most of us know some of the common reasons why our productivity sometimes takes a beating, or the reason why we may not be able to focus. For example, if we have slept poorly, or our diet is not good, or we haven't exercised, these could be some reasons, right? But there are also reasons which are not so easily visible, which could be impacting your productivity. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Hi, I'm Divya Tampi. I'm a growth coach and I help people to work at their peak levels by beating procrastination. So one of the unexpected reasons for lowered productivity is the lighting and seating. In 2014, when I decided to move from being an employee to becoming a consultant, I started working from home. So I would sit down on my sofa with my laptop and start working on the documents or making calls, etc. Within a few days' time, I realized that I was feeling very, very tired, and it had become almost impossible for me to sit and work for any stretch of time. I would want to lie down and I would feel really low on energy. Initially, I couldn't quite figure out what it was, but very soon I realized it was the way I was sitting. The sofa was far from ideal for working from. It's really important that you invest in a good chair and a working table, which is at the right height. The ergonomic setting of the chair and the table will allow you to sit straight and function in a way which is comfortable, which will allow the blood circulation in your body to happen correctly, as a result of which there is enough blood supply going to your body and your body is comfortable and functioning healthy as a result of this. This will automatically improve your level of focus and hence your productivity. As I said, lighting is also a very important part. You may have noticed that when you go to any good office, there is good amount of bright light throughout the office, despite the fact that it is daytime outside and there is sunlight. The reason for this is that when there is good light, our brain gets activated and it becomes so much more easier for us to focus on the things that we want to do. Especially when working from home, what often ends up happening is that we may be sitting in a room at home where there is not sufficient lighting. Even though there is natural light streaming in from the window, there would be times of the day when there is not sufficient lighting, and even if there is some amount of light coming in, that may not be sufficient to light up the areas that we want to focus on. So it's a good idea to invest in good lighting as well in the room that you work from. The second reason why we may be becoming less productive is that we do not have clear goals. Now, don't get me wrong. Most people, whether you are a consultant, solopreneur, entrepreneur, or an employee, most of us have some form of goals. But most people tend to have long-term goals and the big goals which are clear to them. The lack of clarity comes in the smaller pieces of the goal. A lot of people do not break down their goals into small enough chunks for them to be able to see if they are making progress. Okay, so while you may know what is it that you want to achieve in 1 year's time, it is also important for you to sit down and put down in clear words what you're trying to achieve in a month, in a week, and in a day. For example, if you're trying to write a book in 1 year's time, then you need to know that what is it that you're trying to achieve in 6 months' time, that how much of the book should you have written in 1 month's time, in 1 week's time, what part of the draft should be complete, and in 1 day's time, how many pages should you have written. When you have that kind of clarity, then you feel invigorated and it becomes easy for you to work towards that very specific goal that you have. And when you do not know what you're working towards and there is no way to measure your progress, you lose your energy to focus. The third unexpected reason for poor productivity is a poor work plan. Most of us have a tendency to plan our day, our week, and put down a list of all the activities that we are supposed to get done. But the issue is we plan our day as if we are machines, which means that we will have the same amount of productivity hour to hour. But in reality, we are human beings, and the energy that we have throughout the day varies. You know that, right? Like after you have had your lunch and when you get back to work, you don't have the same level of energy. Your ability to focus during that time is not the same. So it is very important that you have a deeper understanding of your energy levels throughout the day. For example, for most of us, we generally feel most energetic during the morning. That is when you're starting work. The first 2 or 3 hours is when you will feel most energetic and productive. So you may want to allocate the most important or maybe even most challenging tasks during the early part of the day when you have the energy and the focus. And during the later part of the day, you may want to allocate some of the easy to do and the mundane work which does not require you to apply too much of your brain. Similarly, in the evening, you could be able to do work which involves brainstorming or interacting with other people, because generally in the evenings, even when you have energy, your ability to fully focus and do deep work may not be the same as it is in the morning. By the way, the level of energy that you have throughout the day can really vary from person to person. What I'm talking about is a generic understanding, but it is quite unique for each individual. So pay attention to what your energy levels are like throughout the day, and then when you plan your week, allocate the work that you do accordingly. It makes a huge difference to amount the work that you're able to get done. And when you are able to get done work according to the plan that you make, you feel more energized, you feel happier and more satisfied. On the other hand, despite the fact that you may be planning your week, because you're not planning according to your energy levels, you will not be able to stick to the plan largely. And as a result, you would feel disappointed, unfulfilled, and this can get into a loop wherein not being able to achieve one week's goals will then make you less productive in the coming week, so on and so forth, and thus impacting your overall productivity. The fourth reason for poor productivity is the lack of boundaries. Now, this can happen whether you're working in an office space or even at your own home, and it's particularly applicable if you're working from home. So what do I mean by boundaries? This includes both physical as well as mental boundaries. So for example, if you're working from home, it's really important that you have a separate working space where you can close the door and you are cut off from whatever is happening at home. When I say cut off, I don't mean that nobody can approach you at all, but what I mean is that you have a separated space where you can focus on your work activities and your mind does not get distracted with whatever is happening at home or whatever is happening outside of your workspace. So like I said, this is also applicable in your office space. For instance, if you are in a cabin and you have the door open and you have visibility of all the people who are moving around, it is very, very easy to get distracted. So, and this is particularly applicable at home. So make sure that you're able to close the door so that other people are not able to see you, and hence they know that they are not supposed to disturb you. The second thing that happens when you have your door open and other people can see you is that often people may end up judging you. Most humans have a tendency to think that if we are working, then we are doing something physically. For example, even if we are working on the laptop, this whole idea that, we must be doing something on the laptop for us to be working. But in reality, about 80% of the work that we do happens inside our head. At least for mid-level executives or solopreneurs or consultants, etc. Which means that a lot of the work that you do does not require you to move your hands, legs, etc. So if others can see you sitting there and it looks like you're doing nothing, they could judge you, as a result of which they may think that it is all right to disturb you. So often it is not because they are inconsiderate, but because they have no indication of what is going on with you. And that is why it is important for you to draw some boundaries, and have some physical boundaries as well, like a door, so that you can keep that partition. Equally importantly, if you have doors open and you are able to see other people at home, for instance, and you see that something is going on, you may feel the desire to go and help them. You may even feel guilty for not helping somebody who's doing something else at home. And that is why that partition is equally for you as much as it is for others. The fifth reason And an unexpected reason for lack of productivity and focus is lack of social connection. One of the biggest benefits of working in an office or being an employee is that you have other people around you, people with whom you can interact, people with whom you share responsibilities, people with whom you can brainstorm. So in an organization, you will have people who understand the context of the work that you're doing. Most times, sometimes it can happen that others actually do not know what you're doing. But for those of you who are solopreneurs or consultants or entrepreneurs, oftentimes you may feel like an island where you feel isolated and lonely because you have to shoulder the responsibility single-handedly. You are not able to share the concerns that you may have, the worries that you may have, the challenges that you're facing with other people because they don't have an understanding of what is going on with you. Having social connections and interacting with other people, whether it is at an official level or at a personal level, has huge amounts of benefits. Interactions with people make our bodies release oxytocin, which reduces the stress hormones in our body, reduces the blood pressure, and keeps us healthy. So even if you are working as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or as a consultant, make sure that you have some kind of social connection. This could be in the form of an accountability partner who is not working along with you but is working in similar lines as you. You could be part of a community of people who are doing similar work as you, or you could even have mentors and coaches who can support you and guide you in the kind of work that you're doing. Of course, it helps a great deal to have a bunch of friends who support you and cheer you up when you're feeling low. So those were the 5 unexpected reasons which can bring down your productivity and reduce the focus. So let's recap what these 5 things are. The first one is lighting and seating. The second one is lack of clarity of goals. The third one is a poor work plan. Fourth one is the lack of boundaries, and fifth one is the lack of social connections. I hope you found this useful. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do consider liking and subscribing to this channel. I'll be coming up with more videos soon. Till then, have a fabulous day.